Amitabh, do you believe Ashok Gehlot made that singular mistake that perhaps cost him the election of repeating far too many of his sitting MLAs? Should he have accommodated Sachin Pilot maybe a year ago? The Congress would have done much better.
See, traditionally the numbers show that only 25% of sitting MLAs of Congress have won the elections in Rajasthan. So he's talking about 30-40 number. By that logic, 75% people should have been denied tickets. And the BJP strike rate is 50%. So that's one. So it's public information. It's not some survey-based information. Second is that, yes, he should have accommodated Pilot, but that was a high command decision. The high command did not intervene at all and let him have a free run for so many months. The entire campaign was his. From the start of the budget, all the posters, all the campaigns were of Gehlot alone. Only at the later stage in the Grih Lakshmi Yojana scheme do we find that the poster of Gehlot with Pilot is there.
And by then it was too late, Sanjay. I mean, today Lokesh Sharma is coming on TV. He was very much part of the inner circle of Ashok Gehlot. They were part of this decision of sidelining Sachin Pilot for years. Now suddenly they are saying we could have accommodated Sachin Pilot. They could have done this 1 year ago.
In fact, yesterday I watched Lokesh Sharma's interview on some other channel where he said even more damning things. And he said portions of Lal Diary, about which some conversations were there, a huge controversy. He said that was actually, he said to the person who wrote that diary. The only writer he added, I don't know when did he write that particular portion, but I did say that. That again, somebody who was OSD coming out is a huge revelation.
Can I show something on the election intelligence dashboard that puts this into perspective? See, once things go wrong, you can pretty much say whatever you want. But if you actually get into the numbers, Rajasthan was till the end quite tightly contested. And I'll show that to you when you look at the margins in the seats. Now, if you look at the victory margins, give me a second as I pull it out. Here it is right now. The BJP, how many seats were won and lost by a margin of less than 5%? The BJP has 29 seats where they won by a margin of less than 5%. 33 seats where they won by a margin of between 5 and 10. You add both of these, you're already 63 plus, you're around 62. That's a big number of seats which are won by very small margins.
But Rahul, that happens in every election in Rajasthan. Actually, the margin between the two parties is barely 2%. But as we saw even last time, the margin was only 1%, and yet the Congress got more seats. That's par for the course in Rajasthan. What I want you to show me is the Gujjar belt. Yeah. If you can tell me in the Ahirwal belt and in the Jaipur region, what was the Congress's strike rate?
So let me look at the 41 Gujjar seats of Rajasthan. Now, how these are classified as Gujjar seats? I mean, there's nothing called a Gujjar seat in reality, right? So seats where the population of the Gujjar community is more than 20% are classified by us in our calculations as Gujjar dominated seats. So we find 41 such seats out of the 199 in Rajasthan. In that, the BJP this time is at 21. That's up 17 from the last elections. The Congress is at 17, down 9 from the elections in 2018. So Rajdeep, that swing, a gain of 17 seats on the Gujjar-dominated seats is one of the big reasons why the BJP has won as big as it has.
And I don't know, Preeti, whether you agree. It's not just Gujjar, it's youth. The point that's mentioned, you went through Rajasthan, young people want a generational change in their politics. And Sachin Pilot may not have had the support of a majority of MLAs, but certainly among the youth was seen as a very appealing figure. Would you agree?
Well, I'll agree, and I'll also add a point. Let's go back to 2018 when Sachin Pilot was the president of the Rajasthan Congress Party. At that point of time, he put together something that could be interpreted as a social engineering of sorts, Rajdeep, where he got the Gujjar, Jats and Meenas, which traditionally have never voted together, to come together in East Rajasthan, which is the belt that we're talking about, to vote together.
Which they swept.
Which they swept. I'll give you an example. In 2018, the BJP fielded 11 Gujjar candidates. 9 of them lost. So, I'm just giving you a small example of what went down. This time around, 2018 came under the promise that Sachin Pilot is going to be projected as the chief minister. This time around, that didn't quite happen, and you see that fracture right there in those numbers.
There's some interesting data here. When you look at the percentage of seats the Congress could hold on to, which they'd won in the last elections, this is called the retained ratio. On the seats you held, how many have you held this time? How many did you lose and who did you lose them to? So the BJP held on to 60% of the seats they had in the last elections. The Congress, though, held on to only 35% of the seats they had in the last elections. They've lost 65% of their own seats. 56 of those seats have gone to the BJP. Rajdeep, that basically means even on the seats which you'd won in the last election, you haven't been able to fare well. So there is some logic. Even Kamal Nath didn't want to do it. Amit Shah and Prime Minister Modi really like to push this. They did it en masse in Gujarat to a great extent, and they tried as much as possible elsewhere. But there is some logic to fresh faces. It, to some extent, helps wipe out anti-incumbency.
I have gone through Gujarat's numbers. On an average, Mr. Modi and Mr. Shah, when they were in power, 3 elections, cut about 30 to 35% of sitting MLAs, at the very least. So you're cutting 1/3. In Baghel's case in Chhattisgarh, they cut 22 MLAs, but here you cut just 17 out of 99. So that's less than 20%.